My name is Tarn Richardson. I am the author of The Damned, the first in a trilogy called The Darkest Hand. It's a story about World War I, the Catholic Church and werewolves. But morally it is a very, very deep and at times very dark story. It looks at what it is within our childhood and within our lives and the relationships that we have that influence us and shapes us and turns us into the individuals that we are. The idea of the Damned came about through a trip which I took to France on the trail of two great uncles who fought in the Great War, one of whom came back and one who didn't. And it was an absolutely incredible journey, very, very inspiring. And I just felt that I had to write a novel around the experiences that I had there and the things that I discovered. So when I came back from France, I almost immediately started work on the Damned, and I was struggling at the start to pull all these huge number of ideas and themes into one coherent, strong storyline. And anyway, one night I was sitting down reading Artemis Fowl, Owen Colfer's brilliant Artemis Fowl, to my youngest son, and he stopped me and he said, "Do you know what, Dad? I'm a bit bored with this." And I thought, "Can't be. This is an absolutely fantastic book." And he said, "No, I'm a bit bored with this, Dad." And so I said to him, "Okay, then, well, what would you write a book about?" And he said, "Oh, I'd write a book about World War I and werewolves." And from that point on, I was off and running. The reason why I really feel that World War I and werewolves fits together well is it's the whole idea of monsters we are, less monsters we become. You know, these were soldiers, these were young men sent to the trenches to do some absolutely dreadful things, and they did these dreadful things in order to not be monsters, and yet they were monsters by doing these dreadful things to each other. So I just felt that was a really strong theme, which I felt if I could tie into the larger story in some way, I just felt it would work really well. It's a difficult book to define because there are so many genres within it. You've got horror, but it's also a thriller. I think it's quite a fast-paced thriller. Historically, it's very accurate. It's also a love story. There are two threads which run through the story about love. It is a very dark book. It's got some quite bleak, dark themes within it, but I actually feel it's a very uplifting book. I think when you finish the book, I hope it makes the reader feel uplifted in some way. They take some goodness out of it. So The Damned is the first in a trilogy called The Darkest Hand, published by Duckworth. It'll be available to buy online and also in all good bookshops.